Good morning, Alex and friends. I'm Grace. Today is Monday, December 2nd, 2024, and you're listening to Alex's News. The weather in Riverside will reach a pleasant high of 73.3 degrees today, with a low of 51.7 degrees. Coming up, we'll examine the ongoing situation in the Red Sea, where the U.S. Navy has been dealing with multiple attacks, and what this means for maritime security. We'll also look at California's strategic planning and preparations in response to a potential return of Donald Trump to the White House. Plus, we'll explore an interesting trend in the shipping industry, where cargo ships are turning to a centuries-old technology to meet modern challenges. All this and more coming up on Alex's News. Stay tuned. We begin with breaking news from the Gulf of Aden, where U.S. Navy destroyers have successfully thwarted an attack by Yemen's Houthi rebels. For more on this developing story, we're joined by our defense correspondent Ethan Parker. Ethan, walk us through what happened.
According to AP News, two U.S. Navy destroyers, the USS Stockdale and USS O'Kane, were involved in a significant defensive operation yesterday. They successfully intercepted and destroyed multiple weapons launched by Houthi rebels, while protecting 3 American merchant vessels under their escort.
Can you break down exactly what types of weapons were involved in this attack?
Yes, Grace. The Yahoo News report indicates that the destroyers shot down a total of 7 projectiles. Specifically, 3 anti-ship ballistic missiles, 3 drones, and 1 anti-ship cruise missile. What's particularly noteworthy is that all these different types of weapons were intercepted without any damage or injuries to either the military or merchant vessels.
And what are the Houthis saying about this incident?
The Houthi rebels have actually claimed responsibility for the attack. According to the Economic Times, they specifically stated they were targeting both the U.S. destroyers and what they described as 3 supply ships belonging to the American Army in both the Arabian Sea and Gulf of Aden.
Put this in perspective for our viewers. How significant is this location for global commerce?
This is crucial, Grace. We're talking about a waterway where approximately $1 trillion worth of goods pass through annually. It's worth mentioning that this isn't an isolated incident. The USS Stockdale was actually involved in a similar attack just 20 days ago, on November 12th. This ongoing situation is having a significant impact on global shipping patterns.
And this is all happening against the backdrop of other regional conflicts, correct?
Exactly. This incident comes amid broader regional tensions, including the ongoing Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. What's particularly interesting is that this attack occurred shortly after a ceasefire was announced in Israel's ground offensive in Lebanon just last week.
Thank you for that comprehensive report, Ethan. We'll be sure to keep our viewers updated as this story develops. And now for our second story of the morning. California is gearing up for what some are calling a Trump-proofing special session. Joining us to discuss this is our political correspondent, Chloe Martinez. Chloe, what exactly is happening in Sacramento today?
Grace, according to the Associated Press, Governor Gavin Newsom has called for a special legislative session starting today to essentially fortify California's progressive policies against potential challenges from a future Trump administration.
What specific areas are they looking to protect?
The state is focusing on several key areas. According to ABC News, they're looking to safeguard California's immigration policies, including its sanctuary state status, environmental regulations, particularly the 2035 electric vehicle mandates, abortion rights, and various healthcare access programs.
And this isn't California's first time preparing for such challenges, is it?
Not at all, Grace. During Trump's first term, reporting from Local News 8 shows that California filed more than 120 lawsuits against the federal government. Those legal battles cost the state approximately $41 minus $42 million, but California won the majority of completed cases.
What about the financial aspect? How is California planning to fund these preparations?
That's actually a point of contention, Grace. The state is currently facing a projected $2 billion budget deficit. However, Assemblymember Jesse Gabriel has been quoted saying this would be a wise investment, given California's previous success rate in legal battles against the Trump administration.
Are there any particular challenges they're anticipating?
Yes, several. The state needs to prepare for potential federal aid withholding threats, and there's concern about Trump's previous appointments of conservative federal judges potentially impacting future legal battles. Additionally, Attorney General Rob Bonta has specifically pledged to protect California's immigrant population.
And what's the response from the other side of the aisle?
Republican lawmakers, particularly Representative Vince Fong, are criticizing the session as counterproductive. However, with Democrats holding supermajorities in both legislative chambers and all statewide offices, they have the numbers to move forward with these preparations.
Thank you for that comprehensive breakdown, Chloe. We'll be sure to keep our viewers updated as this special session progresses. Here are some other headlines. A devastating stampede at a soccer stadium in southern Guinea has claimed the lives of 56 people, including children. The tragedy was triggered by clashes among fans following a disputed referee's penalty decision. Several others were injured in the incident. The chief of the International Criminal Court has strongly criticized both the United States and Russia over threats and accusations, amid ongoing tensions surrounding war crimes investigations. The ICC has faced challenges from both nations, particularly regarding investigations into Russian actions in Ukraine. In California, a new bill proposed by Assemblymember Isaac Bryan would give admission priority to descendants of slaves at public universities. The measure aims to address historical inequalities, noting that Black students currently make up only about 4% of the student population at California's major public universities. Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen made NFL history on Sunday night, becoming the first quarterback to score a touchdown by passing, rushing, and receiving in the same game. The Bills defeated the San Francisco 49ers 35-10 in snowy conditions. The Great Lakes region continues to battle severe winter weather, with some areas receiving up to 4 feet of snow. States of emergency have been declared in New York and Pennsylvania, where Interstate 90 was partially closed. The lake effect snow has caused widespread travel disruptions and power outages, with additional snowfall expected throughout the week. And now for our third story of the morning. In what seems like a blast from the past, the shipping industry is taking a serious look at an old technology with a modern twist. With us is our transportation correspondent, Ethan Parker, to discuss how sailing ships are making a surprising comeback. Ethan?
Thanks, Grace. According to recent reporting from the Washington Post, we're seeing a fascinating revival of wind power in commercial shipping. But these aren't your traditional sailing ships. The industry is adopting high-tech versions of sails to combat what's become a significant environmental issue.
Just how big of an environmental impact are we talking about with current shipping methods?
Well, Grace, Associated Press reports that the international merchant fleet, which includes over 100,000 ships, is responsible for about 3% of global greenhouse gas emissions. That's a substantial carbon footprint that the industry is now trying to address.
How many ships are currently using this wind technology?
According to Clarkson's research, there are currently 165 cargo ships either already using wind power or scheduled to have wind-assisted systems installed. Now, that's only about 0.165% of the global fleet, but what's interesting is the fuel savings they're seeing, anywhere from 8% in typical conditions to up to 30% for the most energy-efficient designs.
Can you give us an example of one of these modern sailing vessels?
One of the most notable examples, as reported by KTVZ News Channel 21, is the Grain to Sail 2, which can carry 350 tons of cargo and only uses diesel for port maneuvers. There's also the Sea Jushan, a massive 340-meter vessel equipped with 5 spinning rotors that's expecting to save about 8% on fuel costs.
Looking ahead, what developments can we expect to see?
The future looks quite interesting, Grace. Grain to Sail is planning to launch their third vessel in about 3 years, in 2027, with 8 times more cargo capacity. Plus, starting next year, in 2025, about 13 months from now, the European Union will implement new regulations requiring larger cargo ships to pay for their emissions, which could accelerate the adoption of this technology.
Thank you for that fascinating report, Ethan. It's remarkable to see how old technology can be reimagined for modern challenges. That's all we have for now. Today's episode was made by Alexander King with Claude Sonnet 3.5, the Perplexity API, and the Google Cloud Text-to-Speech API. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, Alex.